thing to be decided by person himself for himself, not for others. What others doing right or wrong, no. What I am going to do, that it will be right or wrong, that only I have to decide for myself. In that verse, there is a two different good and bad things, not for others.
Okay. How do you deal with death?
What?
Death. How do you deal with death?
Okay, now, as I'm saying that by my understanding definitions that he is nothing but himself, actually there is nothing like a death. Because as I said, everything illusion. Death is simply means simple things. As I said, why Jeev became, right? Just to realize himself, because he's so used and he want to realize himself, right? So that's a journey, like knowing our own self, knowing something, right? Who I am actually. So that journey, when he start doing that, right, he get tired. So when he get tired, he take a rest, right? So when rest comes, that's you counter death. When it starts, is a birth. This is simply momentum only. And as I said, Jeev is not anything else than himself. He himself is there, but only separated himself to see this thing, you know. So what happens here is life and death is simply
Press off.
the continuous journey until you realize your own self. That's why we say, oh, so many life we live like this, right? That simply is a stop, stations, temporary stations there. And then you go and start back again, death. So it's like momentum, just, resting place, nothing but. And that's not one, that's only one himself, it's not different. That's why Atma, we say Atma is only one, right? How come people say, though, yeah, you did this time, next year you're going to, next time when you take a birth, you will be different? That's all bullshit. Simply himself has actually created this illusion of the life, right? To take the break is called the death for a momentum, because he's changing his next step to go ahead, That's whole journey. So from Jeev reach himself to Shiva, right? Those kind of all the big journey, right, is whole channel of life and death. Person goes with that. And nobody has to worry about that or repent or anything like that. Oh, what's going to happen to me, I die. No. Person don't die by himself actually. He decide himself and he want to die, that's why he's dying. He's never unhappy at the time of death. That's why I said sometimes there is a bhajan, one bhajan that Hanslo Nanone Devar Junuto Thayu, right? In that it shows that. If you see all the words of that songs, they say Manorath means, he said Manorath means big desire. That person does himself to go somewhere from this stage to other one, right? And then they say use ajampo. Ajampo means એકદમ એને ઉતાર પાછી આવે મારે અહીંયા જવું જ છે. And then he leaves the body. And that time, the other side, the outside circumstances, the universe, right, whole thing around surrounding himself, try to tempt him to give all material things. Still he don't want that, because he want to see something that he want to do that. Is so nice and beautiful. He want to go that. And he leaves the body. So if you see the wording of that bhajan, every verse is very important to understand, and that shows the situation, that gives the proof, right? That nobody actually at the time of death is worried or he dying because against of his will. No, he only goes by his own will, And Krishna Bhagavan said in another way is this thing also in Gita. He said, I have not given a one breeze to anybody extra without work. As long as you have to do certain things through body, you will be there. Once that your agenda is finished, you are gone, you change another body. You have another journey. Like this car is left, you're going to get a new car and ride on. So this continuous journey simply it is, he himself is Jivan, he became small, right? But he want to know still himself, totality, like a Shiva. And that whole journey he does automatically. And people are afraid of that. And when fear comes inside because of Gnan came and misguiding something, we actually lose the opportunity to live the life, enjoyful. Because we give importance to so many other things which is not important at all. That's why I'm saying in this world there is not a one damn single thing that you should give the importance. Not a single thing. Except just take as it is and enjoy. That's one is thing in life. Only thing you have to see that means you simple thing it is that. Don't do something that you think you're going to do and it is going to hurt somebody and you're going to get benefited. That's a simple thing, understanding. If that person understands that, he doesn't have to do anything. Everything is okay for him. Nothing can bother him.
So you avoid okay, when the journey starts, do not take me. Do not take me.
Just keep going.
તો પછી જે અમુક લોકો કહે કે હું આમ કરું છું તેમ કરું છું પૂજા કરું આમ કરું whatever તમારે ફરીથી જન્મ ના લેવો પડે. So you think that actually ever happens where you do certain things and then you never have to come back in this form again?
Okay, the question is why people doing still then certain things like the puja, this, that, punya, something, right? This is simple thing. It is, if you see, going back to the same thing, right, nothing but himself. If you see that guy doing something, right, and question arises in whose mind? The person who is saying, why he's doing that? So when that question arises, first of all, we're doing one big mistake. One big mistake is we forgetting that that guy is not different than me. Everything himself and nothing but himself, right? For curiosity, if you ask, that is okay. But why that actually arises, that kind of situation? Because we went outside of our own self, looking something, what is going on outside, rather than looking and concentrating on ourself, which is called sthirta, And person once go out, right, this all kind of questions will arise and an illusion will arise. But why it is kept? That's his perfections, because that way, even this thing, as I say, is not real. It looks real to make it real, that happening. And there is nothing wrong, But now question is, ultimately, but is that true? That by doing that, he's not going to get something, or he going to achieve something? That's the question arises, right? Their answer is totally simple. Answer is anything you do for anything, right? Even without doing that, when you ask for anything, your desire comes, right? He always fulfill you. Only but thing is, he keeping time in his hand, right? Time is in his hand. So anything you want, right, desire, he's going to give you, no matter what it is. But with that giving, what fruit will going to come, that you don't know that. Like if person asks, okay, I do this much puja, I'll get this much money, and then I'm going to have this much things, like house, this all thing. Fine, God will give that, because you did that, karma, And when you did that karma, fruit is going to come now, what? That you never thought about, because you think, if I have the house, I'll be happy. If I have the Mercedes-Benz car, I will be happy. That's all you thought about, and you did for that, But the fruit that doesn't come good when you ask for something, because it's become selfishness. Only you doing is for yourself, that, right? So,
What if, but so what you're,
no, so,
એટલે તમે ask Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine. But
that's what
what
you're
if it's
looking
because you want to, like, you don't want to take another birth anymore? So that's selfish too, or is that?
Actually,
No.
it is not anything but because it's like a himself is simply, as I said, so many forms, so many still, but it is one and it remains the one. Only it becomes the changes, you know. So it's not like something came and gone. It's not like that. This is simply parivartan, like a nanu chokro, a small baby, right? They take birth and how it's changing, right? Then again comes, again changes. So this is simply changes of whole thing. It's not one thing. We see that it is separated, like the leaves. We see one leaves and it looks, oh, this leaves only, this leaves only. But it's not separate from the trees. You know, it is still one thing. Even though it's separate, it comes back to the same thing, going through certain process, right? So it is only called parivartan. Parivartan means changes is coming only, and that's why it is called God, called Navnit. Navnit means every moment He's changed His form, you know, and that's who, and that's everything. We ourselves is not separate. We are also part of Him, you know. So it changes coming out. That only. So if change actually say that, oh, I won't be there, right? That is his illusion, his own mistake, you know. Is that, as I'm saying, there's nothing death or birth type things virtually, you know. Everything like a sun, if light comes, you know how clear the rays comes out, so many rays, right? It goes, it's gone. Actually, it's not gone, but scientifically, because that all energy comes from one, is transferred to another time, and is stored there and go back to that and coming out there, you know. So our life is like that also. Once actually whatever reason he created that illusion, right, life, it ends there, then get another things to know, you start back again movies, second movie, you know, after interval. That's what it is. Main thing to know is there is nothing but himself, you know. Then everything understandable.
Yeah, but this human form, you know, and everything that comes with the human form and pain and Luke and whatever. Nobody really wants to do that. Even Ramchandra Bhagavan is like, oh, I have to go through this life, right? As Ram when he came as a
Yeah.
human form, right? That he had to go through the pain and this. Even he didn't want to be there and do that because he knew that's difficult. કોઈ કાંઈ કહે છે, oh yeah, it is not easy આ form રહેવાનું.
That's what actually Jeev actually thinks about that, you know. But fact is not that. Fact is simply thing is Ramchandra Bhagwan, when he comes and take any kind of form, he's not Ishwar. Ishwar means totally everything. Like Ramchandra Bhagwan and rest of things, also when you add up total, that's the God actually, you know. So when he comes like that, there is a purpose for that is what? Like, so, okay, I want to make this movie, right? I want to make my movie that goes successful. It looks so real, so interesting, you know, that way. So what he does is he comes in this form, this way. So all these things he created, right, will enjoy it, you know. And enjoy means all kind of things that he has, like say affections, so many things, you know, to tell about. That all comes to his parakashta, the extreme level, exposing. Like for Ramchandra Bhagwan, when he say all goodness in himself, and when that kind of person, when we see suffering, right, what happens? The thing that we have within that feeling something good, mercy or like that for others, right, that all comes in a maximum strength out. And when it comes out, what they enjoy, the whole atmosphere different. Like say when Ramchandra Bhagwan, somebody actually see bad thing, right? And even some people so affectionate, so they cry even, right? That cry is different. They feel that much love towards him. So all this thing that he has created, right, that actually comes in different form, different shapes. So whole this thing movie coming out, so excellent. It remains good. And even the worst time, the bad thing that he creates, right, like a killing also, like this one. So all this situation against this balance that. Like say when he take the form, so you know that you have to go through bad and good things in the life. So that time you won't break up. You won't feel like, oh, the life is no good for me, nothing like that. So in that even extreme situations also, when they see this kind of what show, right, they feel something for them, good thing. Like if person is very old or very unhappy and see the movie, he feel good. So for those kind of reason balancing, which is called, he create himself this kind of one whole picture, came in the form of the Ram Bhagwan, other name, all this thing. But that's still himself one power is Ishwar, So he doing is this thing, the whole thing he create the illusion, right? But he want to make such a nice movie that it should be balanced everywhere. Balancing, to keep balancing everywhere. So everything, anything when you see behind the reasoning, you simply will find the balancing. Like the small ant comes in the house, right? So we think, oh, why there's no good here? But actually you want to balance something that, okay, here is some dirt, it can produce other kind of bacteria, and it will imbalance my whole, so state. So keep that balance. What we have to do, we have to make the creature one type that take care of this thing, and that should be his food. So everything, anything then we see in the detailed body, so you will find out, oh, he doing something to balancing the universe, one way, other way. That's why Swami Vivekananda, when came, he told very good thing about different religions. But people took, after time went, the wrong meaning. Like Kup Mandukta, right? અત્યારે કે કૂપ મીન્સ કૂવો મંડુકતા એટલે જે દેડકો હોય ને કૂવાનો દેડકો એને એટલે અત્યારે લોકો શું વાપરે કે ત્યાં બુદ્ધિ ઓછી જાય ને આટલું તું જાણે છે ને એટલે તમને પેલું ખરાબ કહેવા માટે તમને કહેતા કૂપ મંડુકતા જોઈતા બુદ્ધિ. Swami Vivekananda didn't say it for that. Swami Vivekananda give that example only, saying that the દેડકો જે છે કૂવાનો, what he is doing, he is actually keeping the water of the well drinkable for the others, just killing the damaging bacteria, damaging whatever it is there. Same way in the ocean he said, the big fish and that what they're doing. And that we want to compare like with a different religion. All different religion they have is they doing their same job. Keep balance. They want to see that certain thing that actually harms the society, universe, right? They want to control, because if water is not controlled that way, how person going to drink that water, right? So it won't be balanced, right? People will die, right? So he want to balance all this thing is done, acting like that. So that's why in religion he was saying that all religions saying only one thing and one thing about God, and he's saying that everybody we are here with one motto, and one our duty is to not to do anything that hurts the universe. They're not individual words used, because otherwise why somebody killing, it is required sometime, if you, and આપણે શાસ્ત્રમાં પણ લખેલું છે. હનુમાન દાદાની સિરીઝ તમે જો તેમાં મધર એ શીખવાડે કે માતા પિતાની સેવા બધું બરાબર, કે મારા માટેથી પણ તારે સમાજને બીજું જે છે એને જો ફાયદો વધુ થતો હોય તો એ તારે વધુ અગત્યનું છે, પછી એનાથી આગળ દેશને જવાનું, આવું બધું કરવામાં આવે છે. એટલે એઝ અ હોલ જેમાંથી ફાયદો થતો હોય એવી ક્રિયા બધાએ કરવી એ બધાની ફરજ છે. જે ખરી ડેમોક્રેસીની છે એ સિદ્ધાંત ત્યાં અંદર આવે. You have to see majority people get benefited. That's all is the goal.
Going back to the prayers and why the rishis were doing, because they don't want to come in a reincarnation. They don't want to take a birth as somebody else, right?
Okay, yeah.
So what's the definition of moksha, right? That's the moksha,
Okay.
right? And some people say, oh, you're going to Akshardham or some Gokul, Gokul Majaishe, right?
Mhm.
So how is that different? Because if you're saying that the soul is just resting, going from from one body to the other body,
Yeah.
right? And why? So when they in the Shastra they talk about moksha. Moksha meaning you're not coming as different. You're not taking a birth as a different either human or animal or anything like that. When you reach that stage, you're not coming back, and that happens after so many births. That's what the Shastra is showing us. So, what's the vehicle to get the moksha, if there is such a thing as moksha, right? Because right now, the way you were explaining, there is no such a thing as a moksha, because Atma you cannot stop. He's just gonna go from one to the other, and to the journey, and even he reaches Shiva or Krishna or whoever that people have a faith in, he still wants, he's still gonna come back because he might have thought about something and he's gonna come back.
So do you believe in moksha?
Moksha. So what's the definition of moksha? And if that, is that
Does it exist?
such a thing? Yeah.
Okay, now this thing is here. See, main problem created here is, as I said, the knowledge, the jnana, right? And mainly Brahmanas, what they did in the Shastras. Shastras was written with different meanings, and then actually it came and translated one to another, another to another. Whole thing was actually changed totally opposite way. Like the Brahmana did all this thing to create the fear, right, in the society among that people, that if you don't do that, you're going to get this one, right? And that simply they did for their own personal interest. So people will count him big one, and they will actually get the benefit out of that. Actually, there is nothing that, as I say, that you can do, and Shastra says everybody knows that, right? That even leaves cannot actually move without his will. If that's simply fundamental things, we stick to that, right? Then how you can count anybody responsible for doing any shit, first of all. So that, first of all, it proves that what they're saying and interpreting is wrong. Now, as far as moksha is considered, originally it is saying all this thing in the Krishna, and very good Gita said that. Moksha is a status of your mind, where actually you achieve your mind status through yoga or whatever, by his blessing. Actually, it comes only by his blessing. That anything outside things is not going to disturb you at all. Your mental status is going to remain same. You're always in the same level. Nothing can make you happy or unhappy like that. You will be steady persons. Nothing can actually make you or deter from your position at all, mental status. And that is called the moksha. But moksha, to achieve that kind of status, is only comes by his only grace. It's not even, some Shastra says, oh, you do this yoga and this and that, right? That is only the path they have shown that. But that path actually created and person has walked through that path, right? Is not because that path actually. That originally, actually fundamental truth is his only wish. God himself want to show that this guy going to achieve this, and he's going to achieve simply by his blessing. Now what he does, it doesn't important, because that one he determined the path to go through that one. And that's why a simple thing to understand, and there are so many examples like that. Like we see big shots like Ramchandra Bhagwan, Krishna Bhagwan, all this. How the hell they can be one thing? No. He want to actually create and act that way, whole thing, he want to make the movie like that, the way like they make the small ant life, and that way he create his all pillars. But that pillars created by only God wish, not by other bodies. They're like, oh, he did this and that's why it's happened. No, that is the illusion comes, and there actually person actually forget that actually total powers is only by himself and nothing but himself. And that simple example, so many stories that comes, and that you can use this way to see that. Where Gautam Buddha is, for example, right? Gautam Buddha, when he born, the guy says he's going to do this and going to happen to this, right? Now, his father was king. He tried almost every means to deter him from what he's going to do that. Nobody can do anything, and he actually go through that and he achieved that moksha. That means that kind of mental status, and he found out the real thing is simply within me, not outside.
I think you're confusing moksha with the trance, samadhi. Moksha.
No, samadhi is different. Samadhi is different.
That's when you do yoga and stuff. That's when you get.
No, samadhi is different. See, moksha means simply moksha means nothing going to actually affect you at all. Even though you're going to see everything, right? But mentally when you see, right, it's not going to affect you at all. You can see like with senses, I say, okay, this movie, and some people see a movie, it is that, and they start crying, right? Because they forget that this is different thing, So in this way, he's actually do everything, right? But he's seeing that this is all predetermined, like Ramchandra Bhagwan, when he did that, all this thing, right? And he was knowing that, and he was in the status, his mind, that everything going to happen this way, right? And he actually simply acted that way, saying that, So he was like the moksha type he was actually. So even he took the birth, it's not the birth for him, because nothing going to affect him. He knows that what going to happen and what person is going to do that. He was knowing that. He was knowing even Ravana's, everybody, because he knows that Ravana is not anything else but myself, That's why once that status person knows, then for him, nothing like good and bad things at all. He don't say anybody bad, that's why, Even Ravana, he was not telling the bad. Only he was telling bad is what? Originally what I told is, you don't do something that hurts my universe, that imbalance my universe. And when he was doing that part, right, that part only he was saying that, and that I want to balance it. So he came to balance it, not to stop at totally like, oh, it's never going to happen. That's why you see, even the God came so many times, right? What happens after event? It came back as it is, right? So only balance it is important, and that's only duty we call for every creature, balancing, nothing more. And balancing means only you don't do anything that actually hurts the universe, that's it. And the moksha simple means is that this simply mental status, because I say there is nothing like a life or birth there, death, because this all illusion, that all illusion, it is simply illusion. But because fear came inside, which you should remove, actually Brahmana should try to remove you and make you fearless. Main goal of the life should be to get fearless. And who can make you fearless? He is the right person to guide you, and that only saint or God can do that. And he does only by his mercy. If he want to do something, he can do 1, 2, 3. But if somebody saw, if you do a whole day fasting, or you do this puja, or you one leg stand up, you do this yoga and you're going to achieve that, that's all bullshit. Doing anything, you cannot get that. What you have to do through you, that he knows, and he's doing that. That's why even big old saint came, right? But if you see, ultimately for whom? All that kirtistam is for God, right? Like Swaminarayan Bhagavan came, Ramchandra Bhagavan, Krishna Bhagavan, but ultimately whom we talking about? God. So his kirtistam he is establishing all. Why he is doing that? Because when he is a very small creature, that time when he has to go through a lot of hardship and all this thing, right? He should enjoy the life. So that time he don't break up, right? He gets some kind of oxygen, That's why all this thing is there. That's why this temple is there. That's why all this type of gods is there. That's why all kind of the big people there, characters are there, So this is all he make whole universe such a way nice that then nothing you can find a complaint about as a whole, So he created and so to use that you don't find any shortage in that one. Only shortage and this whole thing we finding because we keep our vision short, you know. Otherwise, if you see the broad vision, everything he create, not only in excess, but beautiful and nice and enjoy. You know, and that's how he want to maintain it. But when that imbalance comes, then he has to do something different, special.
Right. So what do you tell somebody who's going through like physical pain, somebody who has cancer and they're going, it's like, it's everything is okay.
Okay, yeah, those kind of things is clearly in our Dharma Pustak, they have written all these things, that why good thing and bad thing, what the cause of that one, how you can balance and do this thing, what is root of that. So, in our religion it is simply told one thing. There are so many bhog here. Bhog means the things that you enjoy, right? Like કોઈને ખાવાની બહુ ગમતું હોય ઈચ્છા હોય કોઈને ફરવાનું ગમે તે whatever you do for yourself ભોગવાનું ભોગવવું ગમે, right? Not like for living life, but just enjoying more, taking something when the ભોગ કહેવાય. In Shastra it is written that so many અનંત પ્રકારના ભોગો છે ભોગવવાના, એટલા બધા ભોગ છે જુદી જુદી ટાઈપના. જેટલા ભોગ તમે ભોગવશો એટલા રોગ તમને થવાના છે. એટલે જેટલા ભોગ એટલા રોગ. હવે એ કેટલી ટાઈપનો કઈ જાતનું ભોગ છે અને એના પ્રમાણમાં કયો તમારા રોગ છે, રાઈટ, એ બધું બેલેન્સ થવાનું છે. અને દરેક રોગ માટે તો આપણા તો શાસ્ત્રમાં લખ્યું છે, એક એક રોગનું કારણ પાછળનું કયું કર્મ છે ને એ પણ બતાવેલું. પણ એ જાણવા માટે તમારે એ છે ને સંસ્કૃત ભાષા જાણવી પડે. સંસ્કૃત ભાષા જાણી ઓરિજિનલ પુસ્તક છે તમારી જાતે તમારે વાંચીને સમજવું પડે, નહીં કે બીજાએ ટ્રાન્સલેશન કરેલું. એટલે જે અમુક અમુક રોગો બધા જે છે એની પાછળ રીઝન છે કે એમને એવા ભોગો પાછા કરેલા હોય છે.
In different lives.
Yeah.
Maybe not this life, but anything.
Mostly they do the same life, everything comes out zero out, you know, because it doesn't carry out anything. That carry out જે કહે છે ને એ પણ ખોટી વસ્તુ છે. You know, that whatever you do, you're going to get that results and you have to go through that this life. Because you have to make your account clear before you leave that. Zero. Everything comes brand new. That's why when any kids born, they all are beautiful and attractive and complete, fearless. That's the reason. He finished his account, now we knew. એટલે બાપજી પેલો નથી કે ક્યાંથી સાને તું આવ્યો તેનો કરજે ખ્યાલ, દિવ્ય જ્યોતિ સાથે લઈને આવ્યો ફરવા કાજ. એ આખું ભજનને બનાવ્યું હતું, એમાં એ જ બતાવે છે કે તમે એકદમ દિવ્યતાથી આવો છો અહીંયા. એટલે અહીંયા ફરવા આવ્યા છે એનું એ ભૂલી જાય છે એના માટે કે જે કામ કરવાનું છે એ, પણ એ પાછું ઓટોમેટિક છે. પણ તમે તો ખરેખર ફરવા જ આવ્યા છો, પણ એ ફરવાનું ભૂલી જઈએ છે. આમાં તો પકડી પાડો છો કે આ મારું મારું અને એનું જે ખરું છે એમ કે એને પકડીને આપણે જે રહીએ એટલે આપણી દ્રષ્ટિ છે ને બહુ સંકુચિત થઈ ગઈ કે મને એમ કે મારું જે ટેબલ છે બસ આટલું જોઈને દઈ જાઉં તો મને આગળનું નહીં દેખાય પછી. એટલે વ્યક્તિ જીવ શું કરે છે કે એની અંદર ફસાઈ જાય છે ત્યાં આગળ, યુ નો, અને એને એ વખતે આગળની વસ્તુ જે છે ને એ નથી દેખાતી. અને એ બરોબર છે, કેમ કે એને એ રીતે કરવું કે મુખ્ય તો એ જ છે પોતે. જો આંધ્રો જોનારી આંધ્રો એ જ છે પાછો.
He wanted you to.
Yeah, he wanted to. That's right. એટલે આંધ્રો એ જ તેમ પર જ.
And if you didn't do it, then he sends Maya.
એને છૂટકો જ નહીં કરવા માટે. એટલે આ બધા સાધનો જે છે આપણે બોલીએ છીએ કેવી રીતે કે આપણામાં જે વિચાર આવે છે ક્યાંથી આવે છે કોઈને ખબર છે. એ વિચાર એ જ એનું મુખ્ય છે સાધન, કે એના થ્રુ બધા બોડી જે છે એની કલમ જેવા છે. આપણું લાઈફ છે ને એક લાઈફ એક કલમ છે એના માટે. અને એ લાઈફ થ્રુ કલમ થ્રુ એને જે લખવું હોય એ લખાઈ જાય. અને એ લખાણ પૂરું થઈ ગયું, એને પૂરું થઈ ફાડીને ફેંકી દીધી. એટલે છે એક જ વ્યક્તિ કરનાર. આપણે બોલીએ બધા જુદા, રાઈટ, પણ અંતરની જે બોલાવનાર જે છે એ એક છે. એટલે જે આપણે દ્રષ્ટા નથી કહેતો, દ્રષ્ટા બનીને જીવવાનું એ આપણે અજાણ કરાજાણ પેલા પ્રસંગમાં આવે છે, સ્વપ્ન ગાવા જતા રહે. એના બધા ગુરુઓને બધા કહેવા લાગ્યા કે આવું ભયંકર સ્વપ્ન થોડા ઉઠી ગયા. અને સ્વપ્નમાં તો આપણે જુઓ તો અહીંને જેવું જોઈએ બધું. સ્વપ્નમાં તો એક વસ્તુ જોઈએ કે એવી નથી કે અહીંયા નથી કરતા, યુ એક્ઝેક્ટલી એન્જોય રિયલાઇઝ બધું આના જેવું જ હોય છે છતાંય આખું એટલે સ્વપ્ન હોય કશું હોતું નથી તો સેમ વે આ હોય છે એટલે જેને કહે જાણે કે એ સપનું જોનાર જે દ્રષ્ટા હતો ને એ જ તું છે કે છે નહીં કે આ શરીર તારું છે એનું અંદર છે.
Okay, very good. That's part one. I can end it.